So, last night Ecuador granted asylum to Assange, and yet the UK are still threatening to arrest him and failing to recognise Ecuador's sovereignty, creating diplomatic rows and proving that they are truly the bitch of the USA. Anyone that doubted that the USA is pulling the strings behind this must surely be questioning their position right now. I'm sick of being polite about it. I'm kind of ready to give them an earful.
We're here at general inquiries at the UK Consulate, 90 Collins Street, Melbourne. But it's general inquiries. We've got some specific, very pointy inquiries about the treatment of Julian Assange. For instance, the Foreign Office stating quite clearly that they will definitely not grant him safe passage to Ecuador. So we're here, we're angry, and no one's talking to us. They're waiting for us to simply go away.
The Vienna Convention. Excuse me, we'd like to leave a copy of the Vienna Convention on diplomatic relations. Hello? The plant looks really impressed. I'm sure I saw a leaf move.
Hello? He seems like a nice man. We can reason with him.
I can laugh now because there's only one of these guys. When there's 10, I won't be laughing anywhere near as hard.
It's really disrespectful to not speak to your colonised population. Hello?
Hello?
They're so rude. They're so British.
Okay, 3 now. Three's a crowd. I think they're just waiting for us to die of old age.
Hello? 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 Somebody?
Will you respect international norms and conventions and allow Julian Assange, who has received political asylum, safe passage?
We're currently negotiating with the terrorists here at the UK Consulate, Melbourne. I don't think they've got any weapons, but they're definitely hiding out. They're a tough nut to crack. Fortunately, we've got our best people on it. We're negotiating with them, trying to set their minds at ease. What you've got to do is get inside the mind of the terrorist and let him know it's a game you play. You let him know, hey, it's okay, we're friends, we can talk. You sort of coax them out and then you strike. When I say strike, I mean non-violently, of course. Also, I think they owe me £5. Okay, numbers are building now, slowly and surely. Excellent.
We are at the general
Good
inquiries.
times.
We brought them a copy of the Vienna Convention and they're now aware of what it actually is.
Good.
I just think that someone needs to stand up for Ecuador as well as Julian Assange. What a brave country. I think that our friends out there are trying to work out what to charge us with and what to do with us. It's not the first time we've been here. We got a lot further this time though.
We sure did.
Because, you know, they obviously...
We made it all the way to general inquiries. Ecuador. I want to live there now. Sounds like an awesome place where democracy stands a chance. Clearly, not a lot of that going on around here. They don't have vats of it. Maybe they've got vats of democracy behind this glass. They have little straws and they drink it and they're keeping it from the rest of us. Oh, those English.
Hello.
Hey guys, how you going?
Hello.
Yeah, pretty good.
You're not... I think it's quite interesting that you're not here protecting us. You're actually here protecting a government that is trying to harm an Australian citizen who's not been charged with any crime in any country.
I think you've got me confused with someone else.
Oh, really?
I have a power to ask you to leave because they've asked you to leave or they want you to leave.
We don't want to just give our opinion though.
Well,
We want to do a little bit more than just give our opinion. I mean, if we leave our papers here, we might as well put them in the bin and burn them. Here's the thing, what we're doing is non-violent civil disobedience, so you probably have some awareness of that.
I get that.
Right. And there's no point simply walking out. I realise that you've got to do your job, but we've got to do our job too. And this is a pretty historic moment in terms... If, for instance, say 6 months from now, you guys want to... you have to protest to get a pay rise or a change in your conditions... Okay, the way things are going, protesters, and that includes any kind of protesters, be that police protesting for their rights, the general move over the last particularly 18 months is that protesters are being treated like terrorists and idiots We saw that with Occupy Melbourne, with Occupy around the world. So you guys will be in the same boat as us. If you ever want to ask for anything from your bosses, the chances of you being able to do anything other than negotiate on their terms are absolutely minimal, you know.
What I'm saying here is...
So it affects you as well.
I've got no problem with your protest. I haven't got a problem with your protest.
I understand that.
Do you support the protest?
No, I don't support anything because I can't. You know, I can't say, even if I did support it, I can't say, yeah, I do support it.
Our first contact with anyone telling us to leave is with a police officer. So from our point of view, as you can imagine, it seems pretty dodgy because we haven't even been spoken with at all. There's been no discussion.
But what I haven't come to do now is to say, get out. I've come to say, listen, guys.
No, but you're intimidating us.
Sounds like...
How many police do you need for 3 people?
What I've come to do...
They haven't asked us to leave.
Who's talking? Who's going to be talking?
As much as they are trying to obfuscate our right to speak to them.
I get that. I get why you're here and what you want to do. I get that. We don't want a violent confrontation. We don't want to get untidy and have to pull people out and all that sort of. And yeah, I'm sure you don't want that either.
So we're being told by a police officer that there's no way anyone from the UK consulate will come out and talk to us for
Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken.
5 minutes. I can't believe I died in World War II for this shit.
Sam,
Really?
said to you,
Unbelievable.
I'm here because there's...
Have a chat with a nice police officer, and he's a nice police officer, and they give us sweet fuck all. Basically, we get nothing. If you want to talk to someone as senior as maybe an ambassador, you've got to actually be the ambassador and talk to yourself in the fucking mirror about your thoughts about Julian Assange. Oh, I feel terrible, we're doing awful things to him. Okay, get that out of your system. Now go out there and be an asshole. Oh, I'm an ambassador.
As if any of them want to come in here and drag us out.
Julian Assange was granted asylum by Ecuador, and
That's where that speech
UK Foreign Office got on Twitter and announced that it was disappointed. It was disappointed by this decision. Granting fucking asylum to somebody who's under threat of being renditioned. We know that's true because Sweden has absolutely failed again and again to guarantee that this won't happen if Julian Assange goes to Sweden. That's why he's not going to Sweden, because Sweden won't guarantee his safety. If you want to talk to anybody in authority, good fucking luck with that. You get to vote once every few years on your choice of 2 different turds, and then you're expected to shut the fuck up. That's it. Someone like Julian Assange comes along to open up that system, make it more transparent so people can get involved, and is immediately shut down. How long has he been held captive? How long has he been?
Nearly 2 years.
It'd be nice to talk about these things, you know, over a coffee with the people at the UK consulate, but they're into processing paper, not talking to people. They're into processing people, but not talking to them. If we arrived here in the form of sheets of A4 paper, I'm sure they'd have their dirty little hands all over us. We need to print ourselves onto paper.
They entered the lower ground of the embassy and threatened to storm it. And so that was extremely alarming for us as activists because it rendered things very clearly in the sense that they are prepared to now break international law in order to get their hands on Assange.
We've been in here for a couple of hours, an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half. Please send water. Very dry in here. The motherfuckers in there won't even talk to us. They won't even talk to us. So we think this office closes in about an hour, and we've just been discussing the crack team have been brainstorming some ideas. Should we allow ourselves to be arrested, or should we simply walk out?
We just want a drink of water.
A friend of ours who came up to give us a bottle of water.
You're right.
Got quite menacing there for a second.
Yeah.
I'm on the 17th floor. This is my property.
They're trying to take down his details, I guess, before they arrest him. James tried to come up to be with us, and that cop, Protective Services, slammed him into that wall. And they're arresting him. They're arresting him. Did you come out? No.
Nah.
An activist mate of all of ours entered the building without suspicion, and as he was approaching this door to open it, to offer us some water, which we'd been asking for, a cop slammed him into the wall and thudded him down then against this glass. And he let them know that he was not going to leave voluntarily. And then they snatched him.
Sacrifice one for, okay, what if they get us all? Come on, just go.
Well.
Yeah, we'll hold it open. I don't know how I'm supposed to do it. I thought it was a toilet.
They weren't there.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me.
Kaz was going over to the fire escape to let a bunch more of our people in. It was worth having a crack though. Where were they? They were everywhere, man. Okay. We decided to come out of the office of the UK consulate because we realised the media were actually here. Good to see you, mate.
They were obviously not going to speak to us, which is quite a shame. You think in a democratic country how the democratic process should be, a member of the public can ask questions of any official. They completely ignored us. So we're really disappointed that people in positions of consular countries don't have the courage to actually face the public on this issue. I think the UK know that they've acted appallingly. I think the people of Ecuador should be incredibly proud of their leadership, and I think that the public should stand behind Ecuador and its right to sovereignty.
What's your name?
My name is Sam Castro. I'm one of the founders with Kaz Cochran of the WikiLeaks Australian Citizens Alliance, and we would like to see the United Kingdom, with some actual diplomatic pressure from our own government and foreign minister, ensure that Julian Assange receives safe passage out of the United Kingdom to Ecuador.
And what's your reaction to the police presence here today? It's quite a few compared to the number of you guys.
There were only 4 of us upstairs. We went in very peacefully. We didn't go in there to occupy. We went in there simply to ask some questions. They ran a mile as soon as they saw what we wanted to talk to them about. They immediately brought 7 officers up, including federal police, local police, protective services, and 3 other detectives later arrived on the scene. What I am most disappointed about today is the way they treated fellow activist James Crafty, who's standing over there. They slammed him against a wall for no reason. That kind of brutality in a country that calls itself democratic and believes that protesters have a right to speak and that we have a right to go about our business as citizens is appalling. Victoria is quickly sliding into a police state. What's happening to Ecuador and Julian Assange is going to end up being one of the most historically absolutely appalling narratives of our time, and we should be ashamed that our government is not protecting him and he has to seek asylum in a South American country.
The following day, the Age newspaper published news that Australian diplomats are well aware the US is gunning for Julian Assange, contrary to every word we've heard from the Australian government so far, those lying motherfuckers. The revolution continues.